Do you want us to quench ourselves with fire? That would not be easy, and the burns inside would hurt again, the lacerations we already used all of our will to withstand. When the Sserafim debuted, they said the world was their oyster, and as far as we knew, the world agreed. Now we know there were people who didn't want this debut. People have gone from accusing Garam to accusing Hybe as a whole, and the Sserafim are still standing, but I fear if they were to fall, how Yunjin's feet would make out of it. That is a joke. I'm a fearnot myself, and as such, I know Seraville, as we call it, has been like hell this year. Lots of you are not fearnots, which is okay, to a point. You probably liked Antifragile, but an encore stage in Easy Era made you question things a little bit, or perhaps it was Coachella. It wasn't the first time they sang live, no. They did it at debut, and they weren't stable at all, but the comments amounted to, damn, they are fearless, congrats. So, while I myself have shared theories about vocal standards in K-pop, I don't think singing is the actual issue. It's an issue, I don't deny that. But what is behind the hate? Because bad stages and bad decisions don't cause all of this, and there's a lot of it. Would it be crazy to suggest it has to do with branding? Well, Sserafim has a concept like few others. They don't claim girl crush, though they easily could. They are more than that, fearless. It's in the name if you do a little scrambling. And it is a theme present in all of their content, with some exceptions. I hear Kazuha's dolphin screams in my sleep. But it might have been a mistake, and probably not for the reasons you think. Why make your brand what you lack? The Seraphim's first releases were called Fearless, Antifragile, and Unforgiven. They celebrate what they lack: fear, fragility, and forgiveness. This debut trilogy built an image of girls who are too good to stoop to humanity's level. They could be your angel or your devil, eating sour fruit with or without serpentine interference. They could be Eyes 1. Well, actually, no. But they could be 6. No. The Seraphim always had things taken from them, even in reality. Their careers are a miracle that I have come to fear for, and that's usually not a thing, fearing for miracles. I have to ask the question, are the Seraphim allowed to have personalities? Are they allowed to have anything? Their branding may have caused a serious lack of awareness that they are people. I'm sure many of you have heard of the person versus situation debate, when people attribute their own failures to a bad situation and others to their character. The Seraphim may have just never had a chance in that fight. On top of that, I think there had to have been a shift in around the Easy Era. The Seraphim are great performers, yet we've seen their raw emotions a lot this year, with Sakura being terrified or even Chaewon being pissed off at Coachella. And I think their newer songs are playing with the image they built, but it's more straightforward in its descriptions. Easy is a straightforward title, not speaking relative to anyone else, so is smart, and if their next song is in fact crazy, that is too. But were they ready? Because it feels like they are almost suffering from stereotype threat. If you are unaware, stereotype threat is when someone of a minority is aware of negative stereotypes about their in-groups, and they perform worse on whatever task they are then meant to complete. For example, if you ask a woman to fill in her gender before a math test, reminding them of their gender will remind them of stereotypes that women are bad at math, and they will perform worse than they would if they were not reminded. I'm not saying the Seraphim specifically is a persecuted minority group in themselves, but they know what people expect of them. They have to, based on the fact that they had to turn off their comments on social media. Are they scared of the K-pop community at this point? As a fan of the genre as a whole, I find this kind of discourse, if you can even call it that, quite frankly disgusting. This is bullying, not for no reason, but not for ones that justify them being genuinely scared. This is an industry they gave up their childhoods to join. Eunchae is still a child, and I don't want them to want to give this up too, after all of their hard work. I want them to search for the pearl in their oyster and have the chance to savor just holding it in their hands. It's not too much to ask, in my opinion. I wait down in the lobby. We're all friends here, but it's ominous. A girl more expensive than hotel expenses, and hotels, the ground they take, just like you. You take and take and take photos mainly, digs too for sure. Never close enough for voice notes beneath her breath. Leave. Leave me. We're not all friends here, and you want my voice to be stable? Do you want that now too? Raise the flag. Hey, Chaewon. This girl Saki's hot, and she's fun, and she has notes for you as well. That will make you clutch your pearls, your Cruella de Vil claws in effect to deflect when she's ready, when she's fear. Are you ready? But I say fuck tragedy. This was not originally intended to be the return of the IMVU series, which, if you are unaware, is essentially when I create content that will never exist, often from groups that will never exist. But today I'm in fearnot mode. Don't confuse it with tan mode just because of the name IMVU. That's the joke. But if I was going to include my own writing, I might as well include this as well. Just my idea for a crazy MV. Starts with Kazuha in a hospital bed with an IV in her arm. She's looking at the liquid as it's caught her attention as a non-human color. We, the audience, personally can't discern it from those normal to us. The shot has us looking at her from as if the camera is beside the IV and we just see it shines, almost glittery, making her scoot closer to get a better look. Chaewon visits, not seeming too happy, but Kazuha asks her about the color, and Chaewon says it's like they made a new shade of pink, kinda. She takes hold of the bag, Kazuha looking startled, but Chaewon punctures it with her nail, and the scene transforms from the ground up as it spills with the consistency of glitter glue, kind of goopy. They're in a world of blackness, somewhat foggy. Kazuha's still in a hospital gown, but one that closes in the back, and her foot is in a cast, but she tries her best to walk on it, following Chaewon after she took out the IV. Kazuha doesn't want to lose sight of her. The music pauses, the viewer hearing Yunjin's Phantom of the Opera, high note but echoey. Chaewon starts going faster despite Kazuha's protests. Yunjin materializes with the Phantom of the Opera performance head tucked in her arms like a binder. She's dressed in street clothes at first, then her own hospital gown, and Chaewon is suddenly in one too in the next shot she's in. They cut to Sakura and Eunchae on the ground playing heads or tails, Sakura taking tallies of the results, all heads. They're not in gowns, they're actually in scrubs. Eunchae's clearly big on her. Eunchae gets up and listens to Yunjin's heartbeat, shaking her head at Sakura like she can't hear anything, and Sakura gives a thumbs up like that's a good thing. Chaewon's head is drooping, eyes closed as if asleep, standing up, but neither of the medical professionals are as concerned as Kazuha. Sakura giving her a strange look, so Kazuha leaves her be. They start walking, and Kazuha holds Chaewon's arm to guide her even as she doesn't wake up. They come across a flower patch stretching as far as they can now see without fog. Yunjin stopping with now pink glittery tears, and Eunchae plucks a single petal, giving it to Yunjin, who holds it in a fist like that will keep it safe. Sakura is tallying something as they're walking, though it's not entirely clear what. She has a lot of ink smeared on her hand, though. Chaewon falls through a lake that was suddenly in her way, eyes open wide when she reemerges. Yunjin eats the petal and steps in herself, but it becomes clear the edge is steep and stepping in means fully falling. Kazuha sits at the edge, careful with her leg, but she brushes the water, it becoming more glittery, and Sakura washes her hands in it, and Jay bumping their legs together as she sits down too. The fog grows thicker again, and they all huddle at the water's edge to stay together, all of their eyes turning pink like water was rising in their irises. I feel like I'm so bad at ending these because it's not just straight prose or verse, and it makes me self-conscious of what I succeed to get across, but that's it. No other video segments. I know it was a lot, but I am not okay mentally, and this helped a tiny little bit, so let me know if this wasn't terrible. But for now, like for magic, subscribe for more, maybe comment for my self-esteem, but only if it's nice. Goodbye.